Hello, everyone. Yep, it's Nikki here again from Transport Evolved. I guess I should probably turn off my music so that I don't get a copyright strike. There you go. I hope everyone is well and happy today. I've got my coffee, so I'm ready for the day ahead. I hope you are enjoying your day wherever you are. And I think maybe it's worth kind of sharing with you some information about what's been going on with the whole Chinese trip and what's been going on at Transport Evolved for the last couple of weeks. So the Transport Evolved setup has actually improved a lot. If you watched the last Take Two live stream, hello, welcome. If you watched the last Take Two live stream, then you will know that we finally got the computer issue sorted, which is mind blowing, and the issue turned out to be a plugin that was broken and wasn't working properly, and was basically holding this nice brand new computer that I'm talking to you from now, was holding it to hostage. There was no way that I was going to be able to get any of that stuff done and any kind of meaningful amount of work done because of this damn plugin. And I was actually spending a large amount of time editing videos, longer than I should, because every time I was dragging stuff to the timeline, there were problems being caused. So we finally fixed that. So yay, this means that stuff is going to be fixed on a quicker basis, a sooner basis. Hello to people who are watching. The first two people to say hello in the chat are friends of mine. So hello to both of you. I hope you're well. So for those who didn't know, yesterday I got up at the butt crack of dawn at 3 a.m. Actually tweeted. I managed to wake up 2 minutes before my alarm went off. And this meant that I was able to turn my alarm off and not wake up my wife. Jumped in the shower, got dressed, jumped in the car, headed to PDX airport, caught the first flight to San Francisco, and arrived in San Francisco about 7:30 a.m. Why did I arrive in San Francisco? Well, I was invited to China. I have been invited to China. Hello. We're all friends here on the Transport Evolved Take 2 channel. This is kind of, it's a nice kind of family feel here. So just enjoy the chat, have fun. So anyway, I arrived in San Francisco about 7:30, got on the BART, and I was at the Coliseum station when someone came up to me and said, "Hello, are you Nikki?" I'm like, yes, yeah, that's me. Oh, I watch your channel. I love your stuff. I'm afraid I didn't get the gentleman's name, but he was from Utah, and he comes to San Francisco. He flies to San Francisco every Monday, stays in the Bay until Friday, and then flies home again. And he enjoys the show and likes Transport Evolved. So hello. I'm afraid I didn't catch your name, but thank you for saying hi. It was kind of sorry, I was a little kind of dazed and confused. I had been up since 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was kind of just trying to get my head around the fact that I had to get across the Bay from Oakland to San Francisco to get on with the day. So I had been invited to China by a car company, a startup, a new startup. I had been invited to the Bay Area, to China, as one of several people that the company invited to China in order to cover their Chinese launch at the Beijing Auto Show. Part of that would have been to see the groundbreaking ceremony at their new Chinese factory. Part of it would have been to, they were going to take us to the Great Wall of China as a day off, which I was kind of that was the one thing I was really excited about, as well as all the other car stuff. And then they were going to give me a chance to meet some of the engineering team, talk to some of the executives, get a ride. And I was invited, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I was invited, and I'd said yes almost immediately. I think I kind of said, well, let me check with my partner, and they said, yes, go for it. So I said yes. And if you've never tried to get a Chinese visa before, it's quite a complicated process. I thought getting an American visa to live here, a green card, was difficult. The Chinese visa was slightly different. So the American green card, it's kind of quite clear what you need to get. On the website, it's very clear. This is what you need to do. These are the types of visas you're applying for. This, you have to do your background checks, etc., etc. The Chinese embassy website or consulate website is not quite so clear cut. And what happens was, if you are a journalist and you are going to China, you must obtain a journalist visa. Now, that's not necessarily an unusual thing. The United States mandates that you must have a visa for journalism. If you're coming to the United States, you have to have a journalist visa if you are going to be covering news, if you're going to be working as a journalist in America. And I nearly fell foul of that back in 2012 when I was invited over to the United States by Tesla to go to the factory and to the official launch party for Model S. And I came over, and at the time I was working as a writer for Green Car Reports, and I came over and I arrived in Seattle. My flight connected in Seattle to come down to San Francisco. And they said, are you here for business or pleasure? And I said, well, a bit of both. I've been invited to the Tesla launch, so I'm going to be writing a few stories about that. And they looked at me and said, so you're a journalist? I said, well, yeah. And they said, okay, where's your visa? I said, well, okay, I don't have one. I said, well, come over here. And I had to sit in secondary processing for the best part of an hour and a half, 2 hours. I missed my connecting flight. And eventually, when I was kind of grilled by the secondary processing official, the immigration official, he said, so what publications do you write for? And I said, well, I write for websites. These are the websites I work for, I write for. And so they turned around and they said to me, so you're a vlogger. You're a blogger. And they looked at me, that gave me that eye. So you're a blogger, right? I said, yeah. Yeah, they said, good, because if you're a blogger, you don't need a visa. You only need a journalist visa if you're coming to write for a publication, a print publication. And it was back at the time when blogging was still relatively new, vlogging was still relatively new, and it wasn't a big thing for me to turn around and say, yeah, I don't write for any print magazines, I write just for the web, and that was fine. And also, obviously, I wasn't getting paid to go over there, and I said, well, Tesla's paying for my flight, but I'm not getting any extra money for being here and reporting this. This is part of my salaried position with the guys in the US. So that was cool. That was all good. So fast forward to yesterday. So I was in San Francisco. I went to the consulate, the Chinese consulate, and I have spent the last couple of weeks getting all my paperwork together, all my documentation. Now, the visa application process is reasonably clear. You have to apply for it. If you're a journalist, you have to apply for the J2 visa if you're there for a short period of time, which I was. And the purpose of getting that J2 visa is so that the Chinese government know that which journalists are in China, what they're doing, how long they're going to be there, who they're going to be with, what they're going to be doing. And it's quite an extensive list of requirements that need to be met. So you have to say where you're going, who you're going to be with, what you're going to be doing while you're in China, who you're working for. And as part of that, you have to submit a letter saying this company, i.e., this company is going to be sending the reporter, me, to China to cover this event. These are the things that she's going to be doing. Please give her a visa. Meanwhile, the company who invites you has to send you a letter informally inviting you, which you give to the consulate. And that says, again, this is to confirm this Chinese company is inviting this person to the US, from the US to China. This person is being invited to China by our company. We are a company in this province. We are going to be doing this. The person is coming to do this coverage for us on this thing. Here's what she's going to be doing while she's here. Here's where she's going to be. Here's the people that she's going to be with. So it's kind of like you have to share your entire itinerary with the authorities. Okay, so you have your invite letter from the Chinese company. You have the proof that that person is actually a journalist and works for the media organization, which is kind of weird because I had to write a letter approving myself. Don't ask. The template that I was given didn't work, so I had to modify it slightly. This is to certify that I am the founder and director of this company, and I will be going to China to do this and talk about these things, which is slightly bizarre, but anyway. So we turn up at the embassy. I have the paperwork, I have a copy of my green card, I have a copy of my passport, I even have a photocopy of my driving license. I have the photos that need to be processed. You know, the photos where you look like the axe murderer. Because I look terrible without my glasses on. I mean, if I look at a camera, I've got big bags under my eyes and I just look absolutely terrible. I've had bags ever since I was little because I had eye surgery when I was little. So there you go, little side effect. Anyway, so I turn up at the Chinese consulate. I queue for about an hour and a half. The Chinese consulate is absolutely heaving with people. Monday morning, it's one of the worst times to do it. I go up to the window and I say, here you go, here's all my paperwork. And she looks, the lady behind the counter looks at all the paperwork. And then she looks at it again. And she looks at it again. She asks me a couple of questions and I'm like, okay, I'm a journalist, I need a J2, I'm flying out on Thursday, I need to go to Beijing, this is what I'm going to be doing while I'm there. And she said, well, I'm not sure we can do this right here. I said, okay, why don't, you know, she said, I'm going to go and talk to my supervisor. So she disappears, talks to one person, talks to someone else, comes back and says, okay, we can do, you need to come back at 2 to get your fingerprint done. And I said, well, I need expedited processing because I'm flying out on Thursday. I'm only in town for one day. You know, my flight back to Portland is tonight at 6:30. I need to fly back with my visa, or I need to make sure that my visa will be processed by tomorrow so that the PR agency who I was working with were going to be able to pick up they promised that they would pick up my passport with the visa in and FedEx it up to Portland so I would have it by Wednesday so I could leave on Thursday. And she said, oh no, minimum 4 days to process your visa. I'm like, okay, then I think you should probably just give me my stuff back because there's no point in me applying for a visa if it's going to arrive on Thursday and that's the day I fly out to China. It's not going to happen. So obviously you can't turn up in China without a visa. So the trip is off. Now, I spoke to the company who had invited me, or rather to the PR company working on behalf of the automaker. They kind of tried to ask me several times, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to, can we switch you out to a different flight? And I should also point out here, normally when a company flies you somewhere, normally when an automaker says, hey, do you want to come and cover this? Do you want to come to our launch? Do you want to come to our test drive? They send you a plane ticket. So they buy the plane ticket, they send you the plane ticket. You just have to you have to check in, turn up at the airport. You get on the plane. When you get the other side, you're met by someone from the company. They take you to the hotel. They, you know, you are the guest of the company, and you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about money. You know, when I went to Japan last year with Nissan, they flew me over there. You know, when I got there, I think I took some of my own money because I wanted to have some fun, and I knew I had some I'd actually planned a couple of extra days, and someone said that was okay, and that allowed me to have, you know, I went to Akihabara one day, and then I kind of didn't do much else because time wasn't on my side. But you know, I had some extra money so I could buy food at the airport and stuff like that. So. But if it's in the US, obviously you fly in, fly out. It's really quick. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. In Europe, when I was in Europe, on one occasion, actually, I was flown out from the UK early in the morning to a launch event. I went to the launch event. I got to see the car, and they flew me back the same day. So I didn't even I didn't even stay in a hotel. I just, you know, straight out, straight back. And that was actually quite nice, because I was able to fly in and out of Bristol, which was my local airport. It was like a half-hour drive from where I lived, and that wasn't an issue. But anyway, so for me to go to China, I actually had to buy the ticket. The company said, hey, we will reimburse you, or rather their PR company said, we'll reimburse you for the ticket, but we need you to buy the ticket. Like, okay. So the flight to to Beijing was $1,000, just over. And I also had to buy the flight to San Francisco yesterday, which was $400 because it was a short notice flight. So I had to buy it kind of last week. I think I bought it on Friday bought it on Thursday to come in on Monday. So kind of I had to pay a lot for it. So I had to buy both those tickets, and they said they're going to reimburse me. Now, fingers crossed, they are going to reimburse me. It is a Chinese startup, so it may or may not happen. I'm not naming the company because I don't want to get myself in hot water, but that is the situation as it stands right now. Obviously, also, I want to give them a chance to pay me back. So the long and the short of it is, the company, the PR company that I was dealing with, that I don't think they've ever worked with journalists going to China before. And they have all flown to China. They've all flown on business visas. Business visas are easy. Getting a business visa for China is relatively easy. Getting a journalist visa for China is a lot harder. And that's kind of where they got tripped up. You can get a one-day tourist visa. You can get a one-day business visa. So you can go into the consulate, pay the rush fee, get everything done, and then you pick up your visa later on the day and the jobs are good. And for the J2, I don't think there is an expedited, or the 4-day thing is the expedited thing. You have to have your fingerprints taken, etc., etc., etc. So the company that invited me to China, when they originally invited me, they said, great, we just start filling out the paperwork, we'll get you the invite. The first invite they sent me was wrong. The first invite had the wrong visa type on it. And because it had to be written by one of their colleagues or one of their clients' employees in China, obviously China is so they're 16 hours ahead of me. That particular part of China is 16 hours ahead of me. So right now, I actually have a clock on my computer. So it's tomorrow now already where they are. So let's see what time it is. So it's currently 1 in the morning, 1:12 in the morning tomorrow in Beijing. So it's not kind of like if they sent the wrong letter, you can't ring them up and say, you screwed up, would you send me another one? And they'll go, oh yeah, I'll type it up and it'll be over there in 10. It was kind of a 2 or 3 day process to get the communication. Oh yeah, this is the wrong visa letter. We'll send it back and off we go. So in the case of what happened with me was they sent me the letter, and they probably sent me the letter about a week after they first invited me. I read the letter and I went, hey guys, this says please give me a multi-trip business visa, which is incorrect. I need a J2 journalist visa. They're like, yeah, you're right. Okay, hold tight, we'll send you the letter back. Now, actually, that's not true. The first letter didn't even get to me. So they originally sent the first invite letter. They emailed me after a few days going, oh yeah, so the first invite letter is wrong. We can't give it to you. Hold tight, we'll send you another one. Then they sent me the second one, which is the one that said, please allow this person for a multi-trip business visa, which is incorrect. So I had to send that back. And then it took another 4 days to get the visa letter. It didn't even mention J2. And I don't know if that's because there's an issue with Chinese companies inviting journalists over. It was kind of worded in this backdoory kind of way that said, please allow her a visa. And it did kind of say that I was going to be reporting on the company, but it didn't specifically say, please give this person a J2 visa, which I think may or may not have caused some issue yesterday. The Chinese consulate, the Chinese embassy also says on its website quite clearly, and there are multiple different pages on that website linking to different information about visa processing. So that's confusing in the first place. There are dead links, so they'll link to a file that doesn't exist anymore, or they'll link to a file that you cannot get to, or they'll link to a file that's not actually the one you should have anymore. So all of that, after you've navigated all of that, Excuse me, I'm going to grab a coffee. You can actually talk. I know you're all listening, but you can actually say hello in the chat. Hello. It's kind of funny, actually. We've got all these people coming and saying hello. It feels like it should be... these are all league members. Hello, league members. You know who you are. Anyway, and someone who isn't a league member. So hi. So anyway, where was I? Right. So the information on the website says in several places, if you want a journalist J2 visa, you must ring the consulate ahead of time. You must ring the special unit specifically for journalist J2 visa. Okay. Hello from Perth. Hello from Depot Bay. Oh, it just got a little cloudy in here. It did. Hello. In jokes are the best jokes. Anyway, so it says on the website, you must, hello. It says on the website that you must ring up first to the consulate and say, hey, I want a journalist visa. Now, I have on my phone proof that I rang Washington, D.C. 60 times. Have fun, drive safe. It said on the whatchamacallit, on the website, you must call. I rang 60 times to the embassy in Washington, D.C. I rang the consulate like 50 times, and it either went straight through, and you know when the phone rings, so you get the engaged tone, or the phone rings, but it just keeps ringing. And then after like 4 minutes, the phone cuts off. That's what I had. The only time I got through to someone answered the phone in Chinese. I started to speak to them and they hung up on me. So, what are you going to do? So that is really what happened with China. That's why I'm not going to China. But the trip to San Francisco wasn't completely lost, because I managed to hook up a little chat with the guys from Scoot, who are the electric scooter ride sharing, the electric scooter sharing platform that takes place, that is run in San Francisco. And the team at Scoot are really nice. They've got electric vans that they use to shuffle the scoots around town. If you are a biker, it's a great way of getting around San Francisco. If you've flown in from somewhere else, you do have to get across the bay. So if you come into Oakland, you have to actually get across the bay. So I actually got the BART to Embarcadero, and then I got off there. And then there were some scoots just outside. And you literally, you just come in, you hook up your app. It's not going to work for me because I'm not in San Francisco right now. But you sign up the Scoot app, and then you say, hey, I want to rent a scoot. And it will tell you where there are scoots nearby you, and you can just book one. It's like Zip cars, but with scooters. Exactly. You're totally, totally right. Hello from Colorado as well. Hello, John, as well. Everyone's saying hello. So it's like scooters, but it's like Zip car, but with scooters. So you sign up. They've got these little cute top boxes on the back, and they have a large helmet, and they have a small helmet, and you can obviously use the big one or the little one. Do Scoot do anything outside of the US? Not currently. So you have to have a full driving license to use the Scoot. You have to have a full driving license. You also have to be over the age of 18, I think. And you must wear the helmet. So you can use the big helmet or the little helmet that's in the top box. And I cannot confirm nor deny, John. You pick that up. The little scooters are very easy to use. You have to, there's a little red button, you activate it using the app, you have to check the scooter over, you get on it and you ride it. 20-mile range in San Francisco, which is really good. I mean, you don't think of 20 miles as being long enough, But if you're going, going around San Francisco, it's actually not a big deal. I probably did about 15 miles yesterday, but I was going to the consulate, and then I came back, and then I went to see Scoot, and then I went back, and then I went to the PR agency for the company that invited me to China to have a bit of a go at them. Then I came back, then I went up to the North Beach, then I came back, dropped the bike off, and headed home. And I think I rode about 4 or 5 different scoots that day. You can start your rental at a scoot station or on the street. The smartphone app tells you how full the battery is. It gives you an idea of range. The range predictions are based on San Franciscan travel. So they're kind of conservative. So, if you're going to go up a really steep hill, the range prediction is going to work on that. It's got a little phone dock inside. So instead of having a speedometer, like most scooters, there's a little phone dock. You open up this protective cover, you can put your phone in and plug it in. You have to bring your own USB cable, but you can charge the phone up while you're riding. You can either use the built-in app on the phone, which tells you how fast you're going, helps you follow navigation. I just used Google Maps because I'm more comfortable with Google Maps. It did mean that I didn't have a speedometer, but as I say, this is the equivalent of a 50cc scooter. It's a lot more torquey than a petrol scooter would be, but you're not really going to go above 30 miles an hour unless you try really, really, really hard. Unfortunately, Scoot have just sent back their Twizzys, which I was really upset about. Because I was kind of hoping I could get a little time in the Twizy as well, which is just amazing. So for a short period, Nissan worked with Scoot. They had some Renault Twizzys that were rebadged as Nissan vehicles, and they were driving around San Francisco. They were restricted to 25 miles an hour as opposed to the European Twizzys, which were kind of, have a top speed of 50. Interestingly, when I spoke to the engineering team, they told me that the cars were Renault Twizy 80s. They were actually top spec Renault Twizy 80s, but when they arrived, or when they made landfall in the US, they had to be reprogrammed to restrict them to a top speed of 25 miles per hour. And that's kind of important because there are 2 different types of Twizzys. If you don't know, there's the Twizy 80 and then there's the Twizy 50. And the Twizy 50 actually has a smaller electric motor in it. And obviously that means it's harder for those Twizzys to get around up steep hills. So they had the Twizy 80s that were restricted to 25, and that meant they had 13 kilowatt electric motors. They could just go up and down those hills all day. What else? The app is very easy to use. When I landed in San Francisco, it was a beautiful day. I landed in Oakland. It was a beautiful day, but there were some big clouds on the horizon. By the time I got across the bay and got to my first scoot, I had my crash helmet on, put my jacket on, and I actually took my crash helmet. So I've got a flip face helmet, so I could have, the cameras and things on. And it was chucking it down. So my first ride to the Chinese consulate was in heavy, and I mean heavy, torrential rain on a scooter in a town I haven't been in for about 5 years. I mean, I know San Francisco vaguely, but it was kind of not as easy as I would have liked it to have been. But that's okay. I got through. I got round town. I got to the Chinese consulate and dripped. I sat there cold in the Chinese consulate, and it wasn't until I came out of the Chinese consulate and it was actually sunny that I was able to ride and then dry myself out, because obviously if you're riding, you can actually dry out when you're riding. So I really enjoyed my time with the Scoot. So yesterday wasn't a complete waste of time, but it does kind of put into some perspective in the next couple of weeks as things that I'm doing. So I'm not going to China. I did not go to LA. The thing I was invited to LA kind of tentatively for was the Nissan Formula E launch. They decided, because I'd already been and done the Leaf test drive and most of the event was going to be Leaf test drives, there was no point me going back because it was just an unveiling of the Formula E car. So Nissan are going to invite me to something else, or Renault's going to invite me to something else in the coming months to do with EVs and stuff. More details on that as it comes. So I didn't go to LA at the weekend, which is what I originally thought. Wasn't able, and that meant that I could go and get my visa yesterday, except I didn't because my visa didn't happen. Honestly, I'm not too phased. I mean, the company, the PR company, tried to convince me, well, maybe you could change your flight. What if you came down here on Thursday morning and picked it up? And I said, well, I didn't leave my visa. So in order for me to actually apply for the visa and have that 4-day and hope that 4 days is enough, I would have to come back down tomorrow. I would have to sit in the embassy again. I would have to make the trip. And I would then have to do, I'd have to come down, sit in the consulate, go through the whole process again. Today, make sure that they said, yes, we can do it in 4 days, absolutely, which they weren't sure they could. Then have flown down to San Francisco early on Friday morning, which would have meant another 3 a.m. start, picked up my visa. I've had to have rebooked the flight to China. So instead of taking off on a Thursday, I took off on a Friday. I would have had to have shifted the flights. So I left from San Francisco or Oakland rather than Seattle, which is where I was going to fly through, and hope that I could pick the visa up and then turn back up at the airport and then fly out. And I was like, guys, I know you want me to go, but no, because it would have been another $400 for the flight down to San Francisco twice. And then it would have been, a long day for me. It would have been getting up at 3 a.m. on a Friday and going to sleep on Sunday, which was just, Sunday morning, arriving early Sunday morning. And I'm like, no. And I said to them, look, I've already had to talk to my wife and shift dates and all of that around. I just can't do it. Invite me to something when I have a lot of extra time. And it was a lot of financial risk on my side, and I've currently, this particular PR firm owes me about $1,500. If they don't pay me, which unfortunately I have a funny feeling I'm not going to get that money back, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully they'll be true to their word. Hopefully we'll get that back. But it's the last time that it's the last time that I agreed to pay for a flight on my own, unless I know for a fact that I'm going to get a good thing of it. Cool shirt. Yeah, this glows in the dark. It still glows in the dark. It's from a convention in the UK called Confuzzled. And this is the Confuzzled 2014 or 2015 shirt. I can't remember. It's the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. And the cat, Cheshire Cat, and some of the other characters actually glow in the dark. It's a really cool t-shirt. I like it. All right. Am I going to fully charge live? I cannot confirm nor deny that. We'll see. I'd like to go. I mean, if I don't get that money back, I've got to try and make that flight work somehow, haven't I? So we'll see. We'll see. I would like. Couldn't I wing it and travel on a business visa to China? Are you joking? No, you don't. Some countries, yes, you could have done that. Pardon my French, but you don't fuck with China. China. Of journalists expose some of Chinese civil rights issues, and therefore, if they think that you are a journalist, they will absolutely you get put in prison, or you get chucked out pretty quickly. You don't mess with China. You just don't do it. I mean, the US, I got away with it. That one time I arrived in the US and they were like, so you're a blogger? And I'm like, yeah, I don't actually write for any publications. I write for a website. And they were like, cool, that's not a problem. If you wrote for a paper, then you would need a visa. You can't do that with China. So, no, it's just not going to happen. And other people are like, well, I would have done that. And I'm like, well, good for you. I have a family. I have a business. I have to do everything above board. It's the same reason why, I mean, people say to me, well, why can't I send you money on eBay, or on why can't I send you money through PayPal? Again, I can't. I just can't. If you are from another country and you want to send me a gift, send me an Amazon gift voucher, which I will use to buy a hard drive or something for the business. That's okay, because you pay VAT at your end. I don't have to pay VAT at this end. Complicated process. Anyway, it's the reason why I do everything I do. Transport Evolved has fully comprehensive insurance. We have a big insurance, not big insurance, but we've taken out an insurance policy. So, if I'm out somewhere filming and someone trips over my camera or something else happens or someone I'm paying does something stupid, I'm covered because I value my business too much. I value my livelihood and I value my family's financial security. So there you go. That's the reason I do what I do and why I do it. All right, let's talk Tesla. We've got a few minutes. I said I was going to go until past. We've got a few minutes. Let's talk about Tesla. Let's talk about the Tesla, the production shutdown. Tesla's very clever. Tesla said, it was a planned production shutdown, no problem. Now, I think it probably was a planned production shutdown. I don't think it was planned at the start of Model 3 production. Go on, Rare Irish EV News. I'll watch that in a second and then I'll keep my eye on the chat. So Tesla Fremont, obviously they've shuttered the plant to make some changes to try and improve production speed for Model 3. Apparently none of the staff knew about it. Isn't that funny? Yeah. I actually got hate mail yesterday for that piece I did on Tesla. So whatever. It's kind of funny because you can set your clock by the hate mail I get when I'm writing about Tesla. It's really funny. But anyway, that is what happened. Tesla shuttered the plant. I have to say, I think it's probably okay. I think I've probably talked about this enough now. I have filmed a Tesla Model 3 review. Between you and I have filmed a Tesla Model 3 review. I have driven a Tesla Model 3 three times, and I liked it. It was a nice car. Wouldn't work for me though. I mean, it just wouldn't work for me. Too impractical for me. I wouldn't want to own it because it's too, I don't know, it feels almost like too posh, too high end. I like vehicles that are utilitarian, that you can maybe bang and knock and not worry about it. I would worry about it and I would repair it straight away. If I ever damage my car, I always get it repaired straight away. But the interior felt a little too posh for me, maybe. And also, obviously, the lack of hatch would be the other issue for me. But I really enjoyed my time behind the wheel of the Model 3. I have filmed a review. We've got some absolutely stunning, and I mean stunning footage. I have a friend with a 4K camera, and they've done themselves proud. They've done me proud. We had a fantastic time. And they did I was just really blown away by how awesome they were filming that. And so the Model 3 review is on the way. It's going to take a really long time to edit because it was nearly a terabyte's worth of footage. It was filmed over 2 days rather than one. And it's going to take some time. All right, so Ireland. In recent news, the government and Transport Minister were grilled for their lack of commitment to EVs. 4 EVs out of 6,000 in the government fleet. We're talking about Ireland rather than, we're actually talking about the country of Ireland. On Irish Times can't send link. Okay, I'll have to look that up. I might include that in this week's show, especially if I can find some pictures of Irish EVs. So there we are. Great news. Oh, great. I'm planning something top secret with someone else in the EV world, and they just sent me an email. I'm really excited about that. So anyway, I think I'm going to end this stream now. So you now know why I'm not going to China. You know why I'm not doing anything. Oh yeah, there are some appearances. There are some things that I'm going to be doing. Assuming I get the money back from the trip to China that didn't happen, I will be going, or maybe someone can help me. The live streamers cloak and dagger stuff, it is. I like teasing you. There's some things that are in the pipeline that I cannot talk about yet that you guys probably can put 2 and 2 together based on questions that people have asked me already in the stream. All right, so what am I going to say? If you want to send me some video of Irish EVs, please do, because that'd be awesome. And sorry, I'm playing with my tail. So where was I? Oh yeah, going to be in Laguna Seca, hopefully, on the 1st of July, hopefully, for the Refuel event. So Refuel EV track day. It's at Laguna Seca. It's on a Sunday. Fingers crossed, I will be there. I need to fly down and back on the same day because I'm flying out to Pittsburgh for a convention later that week. But it will be a track day in EVs, and I have pitched to an EV owner, to an EV company. No, I have pitched to an automaker. Can I have this particular EV for the track day? And they've said, yes, in principle. We need to hash that out a bit more. But hopefully, I will be going to the track day at Laguna Seca, the Refuel 2018. So that'll be good. So I'll be there if you're driving in Southern California with your EV. Be cool. And then what else? I am also going to be making some trips, which I cannot talk about yet. One of which is inside the US, one of which is outside of the US. Oh, and I'm getting a motorbike in a week or 2 for a review. But there you go. That's all I'm telling you. I am going to go and write a script. I'm going to write Wednesday's show and Thursday's show. Sorry, you're going to get pre-records from me this week because I'm knackered. I worked 60 hours last week. I worked Saturday and Sunday. Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I wrote scripts, and then I'm going to have a bit of a day off tomorrow. Not a full day, but a bit of a day off tomorrow and a full day off on Thursday. And then I'll be doing 10 as normal on Friday. And then I will have to start pre-recording shows for a trip I'm doing in May. And I will be completely offline for 7 days because I need a break, basically. Anyway, it will not be 7 days. It will be like 4, and I'll probably be vlogging along the way. But anyway, you know me. I'll be doing some work. Thanks for watching. If you are not subscribed to Take Two, which is what this channel is, please go to Take Two and subscribe to the Take Two channel. If you follow the icon on whatever this channel is and you click subscribe, you can subscribe to the Take Two channel as well as the main Transport Evolved channel. If you'd like to do that, you will help me because then I can start earning money from this channel too. I don't have enough subscribers yet and I don't have enough views yet, but I'm getting close. And you may not know this, but if you have a big YouTube channel or even a moderate sized YouTube channel or even a small one like I've got, and you're earning money from one channel and you start a new one up, you have to go back to the start and start again. So if you can help me beef up the subscribers, beef up the watch times for this channel, and I'll be doing more behind the scenesy stuff too. I have talked for 38 minutes straight, so I'm going to go now. 42 minutes straight. Gosh, 42 minutes straight. Thanks for watching. Keep evolving.